Hello Scorpio friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my report, Scorpio March 2021 Astrology Must Knows. I'm starting out the reports for this month by sharing my sheer excitement about this month being my favorite month of all of 2021. And I want to go into all of the reasons why. And we're also going to go into lots of specific must-knows for Scorpio, but we have to address the awesomeness of this month first because it's so profound and rare and long overdue. Okay, so there are a bunch of reasons why I'm excited about this month, and now I'm going to share them all with you. The first is that finally, we have way more sweet aspects than we do salty ones, and even some of the salty ones that could be a little nuisance, some of those could actually flip over to the sweet side, further increasing the ratio between these sweet and salty aspects. Now, this is really notable because we haven't had a month like this for a very long time, and we're not going to have a month like this for the whole of 2021. This is the only month of the whole year where we have this domination of sweet aspects, very notably sweet aspects compared to the challenging ones. Okay, so another reason why this is a major must know is that we have been dominated by outer planet clashes in all of 2020 and in January and February of 2021. Outer planet clashes are when the planets that are further from us, that move more slowly, come together in a challenging aspect and make these profound booms. And we feel those all globally trickling down to our individual experience. There's boom, 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 boom everywhere. And so you have seen this in January, and you'll see it in February, depending on when you're watching this. This will be up before then, but it's going to happen because those outer planets, and of course it happened all in 2020, we had that going on. But March is the first month where we don't have that going on. Now, of course, there are still after effects and integration, of the things that we've gone through, and we are still in process because the aspects that went on in February, which I talk a lot about. I do a whole thing on that with Saturn and Uranus, is going to, echo out still for the rest of the year. But at this time, we're not in the hot spot of it. Okay, and we're not in the hot spot of any outer planet clash. So that overbearing heaviness that type of aspect has is just not present at this time. Okay, so another reason why March is my favorite month astrologically for the whole year is because we are free from personal planet retrogrades, with the exception of a little bit of lingering post-direct, energy that Mercury has, just kind of regulating in the earlier part of the month. We've got March and April, even the early part of May, clear from the personal planet retrogrades. And what that means is that we have more clarity. You will have noticed that as January wore on and all of February, we descended back into the retrograde confusion. When things are going retrograde, things get called into question. So things that we thought were sure were called into question in January and February. But now, as that shadow wears off, getting into March, we open up back into these open stars, then the clarity comes back. The confusion dissolves away. We can start to see more than 2 feet in front of us. And as you know, we haven't been able to really plan anything further out than moment to moment, which in some ways was a very brilliant spiritual practice, spiritual exercise to just stay right here. But we are shifting into a time where we're going to start seeing the way things are going to go and start making plans around that. So even if you're not doing important things or making big plans at this time, you will start to see it opening up where you will start to be able to do that. And in some cases, you will be doing major things this month. And in some cases, you will be making major plans for the future at this time. And things are opening up for that. Now, if you've watched my reports for a while and you heard me getting very excited that December and January, the energies were opening up for some forward movement. And we did have that. But it was still underneath the shadow of the eclipses and then the outer planet clashes and then the retrograde. So we had open stars for a little bit of time in December and January. But it was still under the dominion of all of this heaviness. And in March, we're starting to have these open stars again, but without that heaviness, okay? So that's another reason why it's my favorite month. And then the last reason is because we are at the midpoints between the eclipses. Also, if you followed my work for a while, or if you otherwise follow eclipses, then you know the months around eclipses are called eclipse seasons. We have this happen at least twice a year. And those times are very intense, for better and worse sometimes, but usually there's high anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of radical changes, a lot of saying goodbye to things, a lot of big openings that we don't really know where they're going to go. So March and even the earlier part of April is at this midpoint between the previous eclipses, where we're sort of, in a better state of integration of those, and the other ones have not yet happened. So it's just sort of this little safe buoy that's, kind of a soft spot in between the points of intensity, because things will get very intense again in May and June, and but we're not there in March. So that's something to celebrate. Okay, so now that you have a very solid explanation as to why I'm excited about this month, and why hopefully there will be a lot of chance for rectification of challenging things that had occurred prior, I want to talk about some things specific for Scorpio. So the first must know for Scorpio is that we have lots of energy in Pisces, and when we have movement through a fellow water sign, as Scorpio is a water sign and Pisces is a water sign, that means that trines are being made. I'm always chasing trines because I call the trines astro kisses, basically, and we want to always know when those are present, because those are going to be little sweet spots, or in some cases big sweet spots, that happen throughout your month and in your life. So as the personal planets move through Pisces, they're going to kiss your placements, and that can bring some sweet harmony, sweet emotions, emotional connections, tenderness, emotional understandings, emotional healing, psychological healing, spiritual breakthroughs, things like that are the types of things that come with water trines. Now, the houses that you're going to be experiencing these Pisces transits and the trines are the house of home. Okay, so home and family, and then also the fifth house. So we'll talk about these houses, but do know also that even though there is a profound amount of positive potential, that because of all of the watery energy, it could also bring high emotion. And sometimes high emotion, even if it's good, can be overwhelming. And if it's a challenging emotion, you'll feel that. So expect a lot of emotion this month. But Scorpios can handle that because that is your domain. But just know that it's coming, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, and you have to just kind of plan to have a little ladder set into your emotional depths, so that if you start to find yourself creeping down too far, that you've got your little plan to kind of get out. Okay, but hopefully, because it's a nice angle, this will be super supportive. So home, family, real estate. If you're trying to sell a house or buy a house, you couldn't pick two better months in the year than March and April. If you're trying to move, or if you're trying to do repairs to your house. And again, like I said, like the more long-term decision energy gets stronger as the month of March wears on. But it's really solid for most of March and for all of April. So, buying, selling, contracts, after the first, we'll say a couple of weeks of March, but it just wears off every day, So if you're like at March 8th, you're still at the tail end of the retrograde post transit from Mercury, so things won't be as clear on March 8th as they will be on March 12th, and then they'll be even more clear on March 14th. But, once you're kind of getting into March a little bit, all of these things start to open up. And there can be quite profound, wonderful things gelling for you in your home space, in your family, in your relationships, in your psychological healing, and in your real estate endeavors. If you are working from home, or hoping to work from home, or trying to develop your home business, or a business that's based on homes like real estate or feng shui, or if you do psychological, like help people with their psychology or their inner world or their inner child, those types of businesses have a lot of opportunities right now, especially for Scorpios. So hopefully you'll get some good business news there. Now, the other sector that's going to be highlighted at this time is your house of creativity. And this is all of your art projects and your music projects. If you've wanted to take music lessons or take acting lessons or do anything involving, music or fashion. So anything that you're working on in your creative depths have really great promise at this time. This is also your house of romance. So your romantic life could cook up if you're single and you're wanting to date, especially as the month goes on, and again through all the rest of March and April. This is a fantastic time for your love life. This is a fantastic time for your your children sector. If you're trying to have kids, you may have amazing news now. If you're trying to solve a problem or spend more time with your children, this could also hold a lot of blessings. This particular area of your life that's lit up now and is also going to have these nice aspects, besides just having the focus from the planet's movements through this area, also has to do with, I call it your bucket list house. So things you've always wanted to do, things that were on your mind that you know, this is a time where either that could be happening or you could actually be getting a plan together for that to occur. And so it's very, very exciting and very, very promising. Okay, so something else that's a must know has to do with Pisces opportunities. When the planets move through Pisces, they bring certain things into the forefront. And this brings us opportunities to do more with these sectors. So you have chances to improve your sleep, quantity and quality. You have chances to deepen your meditation or start a meditation practice. Anything having to do with attaining more inner peace, psychological spiritual healing, as we mentioned before, mystical studies, anything having to do with channeling or connecting with energies that are lesser seen, like people who've crossed over, having a dream with a loved one, something, or getting messages from animal totems. All of those areas of kind of the lesser seen realms are very highlighted at this time. A deepening of a compassion for yourself, self-love, deepening relationships, bringing more honesty to yourself and your relationships, seeing places where maybe you could do better, or seeing places where you have patterns of betrayal, and maybe your intuition was telling you that someone was doing something and you didn't trust yourself. And so something happened, but then that helps you to deepen your relationship with your intuition. Anything having to do with healing addictions is a strong opportunity at this time, and dealing with any mental issues or challenges. I'm a huge proponent for removing the stigma from mental disease. All humans have mental disease in one way or another. It just manifests in different ways. Some mental disease shunts into physical problems. Some mental disease shunts into spiritual problems. And some just stays as anxiety or instability in the mind space. But this is an amazing time to make some headway with healing and getting more solidness to your mental space. Also, anything having to do with connecting to the all that is, that oneness, the force that is coherent behind all the madness. There's a mathematical truth of coherence behind all of everything in life. We see this in the golden ratio, and this is also shown, and I talk about this in my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. I have a nice, some visuals that my husband created for me to kind of show this more, but the relative distance between the planets is all in the golden ratio. There's so much that we can see the coherence and benevolence of the universe behind the chaos. And this is a time to really reach for that truth and put more trust in that higher power and receive the peace that comes with that trust and that surrender. So this is a really great time for anything like that, and for detoxification, healing your immune system, clearing your lymphatic system, and clearing the sludge out of any area of your life. It's just a very strong detox energy this month. Okay, so something else that's being highlighted specifically for Scorpio has to do with the 8th house, because Mars is going to be moving through there. And for some of you, it's going to take a little longer, so it'll be in the 7th house longer. But what's the same about that for all Scorpios has to do with a very strong focus on your relationships. So you're going to see yourself really hot on trying to make certain things in your relationship work, trying to improve relationships, trying to come to resolutions, or partnering with people in a very deep way, either clients or, collaborators or something like that. You really have a lot of extra power in your partnerships at this time. And this also can have to do with clearing up debt, getting a loan for anything, getting capital funding. So all of those areas are really strongly highlighted for Scorpio at this time. Okay, so Mars moving into Gemini is also going to bring up a lot of travel opportunities. Okay, so some people are actually going to travel this month. For other people, since we can see more than 2 feet in front of us, you might start being able to plan for travel. The restrictions, the mandates might either start wearing off, or you're going to start to see when they might be wearing off, and you might start to make some plans for future travel and have some clarity about what that might look like. There might also be some really solid local travel. Okay, so for the people for whom they're still in lockdown at this point, this energy can manifest differently for you through a lot of social energy, which doesn't have to be necessarily in person, could be online or could be on the phone, but this is going to be a very, very busy time. So just have your to-do list, hand ready to be scribbling, because Mars in Gemini is very scattered, very busy, very all over the place, a lot of things pulling for your attention, and it could really improve physical mobility, whether that's through healing from an injury or whether it's because travel is getting back on board or planning for future travel is getting back on board. Okay, so the last two things that I want to talk about, one is the new moon in Pisces on March 13th, and that's at 23 degrees. Now, as we talked about before, these Pisces aspects are making nice placements for you, but I want to just call this out because having a new moon in a sign that is in a nice aspect for you brings extra nice energy. So in the days around the 13th, this is happening. If your birthday is close, this October 13th, or in the days close to there, we'll bring it back to like October 8th or bring it up to October 18th to be our range. Anywhere between October 8th and October 18th, the closer to the 13th, the more intense, you'll be getting a kiss from this new moon. And so all of the things we talked about that are Pisces related things, the all oneness, the sleep, the meditation, the spiritual breakthroughs, all that stuff, there's some extra yummy energy for you all at that time. The last thing to be aware of is that we do have a full moon in Libra on the 28th or 29th of March, and that is going to bring a lot of fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama to relationship space. And there are some Chiron clashes that are occurring at that time. So there could be some things that come up in your relationship space. I always say, schedule yourself to be unscheduled at that time if you can help it, because there might be things that show up in the days around the 28th or 29th, sometimes it's before, sometimes it's after, that need your attention in your relationship space. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It could be a positive thing. It could be an amazing thing. It could be a breakthrough of ultimate proportions. But you'll definitely just want to know that that's going on so that you have it in your calendar to just kind of like, something's going to happen around then. Hopefully it'll be positive. And even if it's challenging, it could, like I said, create a breakthrough where you actually move past something that was prior a problem within your relationship space. But overall, overwhelmingly, super positive month. Extra positive things for Scorpio from those Pisces trines. And of course, March being my favorite month of the whole year, I'm hoping that that works out really beautifully for you. Okay, so if you'd like even more information about the astrology ahead and how you can make the most of it, first go to anniehelpsyou.com. You'll see a little note there that says, "Dear friend, I'm Annie Botticelli," and it will have a sign up right there on the front page. That's where you sign up for my free email newsletter. You'll want to sign up for this because you will get delivered into your inbox 1 month early each month my write-up, a comprehensive write-up of the month ahead, including all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, what you might expect with those, and lots of details about what you can expect for the month and what to be aware of and what to celebrate. Okay, while you're at anniehelpsyou.com, click in the right top corner under blog, and I've got all different types of blogs, but of note here with this astrology forecast is my astrology blog, so you can check that out. Then go to cozybysweetstarlight.com and note that in the notes underneath this video, if you click on the little more arrow underneath the video, it will reveal all of the notes with these actual links so that you don't have to just remember what I'm saying, because they're always underneath the video. So you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, get my written horoscopes for each sign up 1 month early as usual. I like to give you time for planning. Also, I've got extensive different categories for healthy living and astrology kissed living. So herbal teas for each sign, yoga for each sign as the sun moves through the signs. So you'll want to check that out. It's a beautiful site. Then definitely also go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. That's my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, and check out the free courses that I have for you. And also you can see my paid courses. If you think I put a lot into my free resources, then wow, you should see what goes into my paid courses. You can check out my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. Even if you don't want to do astrology professionally, if you want to learn astrology because you love it and you want to learn how to use it for yourself, for your own self-development and help your family and friends, or if you do want to do it professionally, this course is crazy comprehensive and it will prepare you to do whatever you want to do with astrology. So you can see that at lumelife.com, LUME-life.com. And the last thing is to make sure to get my book, my new book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. It's in every major bookseller, all in every Barnes & Noble, every Books A Million in the whole United States. It's also everywhere extensively throughout the world. You can get it pretty much anywhere. And it will help you to do just that, align with the natural rhythms of the universe. It's a very comprehensive book, and you'll go back to it time and time again for resources on how to use all of the astrological potentials in the best way. You can get it on Audible, you can get it on ebook, and you can get the beautiful hardcover version. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.